Hello guys, welcome you all to my channel and this is Venom. Today we are going to be discussing regarding the command injection. The command injection could also be called as remote code execution (RCE). So the code execution or the command execution is considered to be the top 10 in the OWASP. So what is OWASP? OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Projects. So today we are going to be discussing regarding the command injection. What is meant by command injection? Means whatever the sites that you are going to be visiting, they would be hosted on any particular operating systems or the web servers like Windows, Linux, or even many different kinds of Linux operating systems are being used in the server side. So those systems could be hacked by using the command execution. So today let's start with our sample application. So here let's read this. PayHub is an online money transfer service offering peer-to-peer transfer solutions, including the payment, currency transfer, and currency risk hedging. So what this application is doing is this application is actually providing online transaction like a payment, like doing a different kinds of payments like phone pay, google pay, and many other applications are actually present which are actually working like this. So let's start. So first of all, let's consider to be a Bob is a pen tester who is working for a PayHub. So what is a pen tester? A pen tester could all a penetration tester could also be called as a pen tester or a ethical hacker. Is a is a person who is just going to be analyzing the analyzing a website or a domain in a hacker perspective, and he will gonna rectify them and he will gonna make a separate report regarding them so that those errors could not be used by the hacker for attacking. So he will just so let's start. So first of all, what is happening is we are actually have to enable the two-factor authentication. Here the here the change password application is actually present. Here we could change the password, but instead of that, first we are going to be enabling the two-factor authentication, and here we have to provide the email address. So the Bob is actually the admin or the account holder who is actually providing the two-factor authentication. So he will just gonna copy and paste his mobile number, or he will gonna type his number and send the authentication code. So what the attacker is doing is he's actually intercepting the particular request that is being sent from the Bob to the server. So here we could see what are the different kinds of things that are actually present. I have already analyzed the code. So uh, this is a particular code that we have to monitor. Here the data is being forwarded as the phone with the phone number. So whichever the phone number that is being forwarded, that is that belongs to the Bob. Okay, so that's what is given. Clicking the send authentication, the Bob is generating the post request. So in the post request, passing the phone number as its parameter value. Okay, so now what the attacker is doing is he has captured the particular request and he had now let's see what is the code that is actually being generated in the backend. Okay, so this is a Java code that is actually present. So what it is doing is it's handling the two-factor authentication. Here it is a third-party application that is being used for generating the individual token of a user. So what it's doing is it is accepting the request from the user, and it will gonna be storing that particular phone number or the number that is going that the data will going to be forwarded to this particular page, and it will gonna be storing in the phone number. And then in the if statement it will gonna check whether it is null or not. If it's null, then it will gonna return something, but if it is not null, then it will gonna move up to the try and catch block. So in the try block, what's happening is it's using a runtime.exec. So what this specifies is that this is a Java application that is being processed. So in this Java application, we are actually using a different kinds of commands. We are In this, the main command that we want to monitor is curl command. So what the curl command is doing is the curl command is actually sending a request to the particular API with the phone number. So whatever the phone number that is being assigned to this particular API, so for that particular API the value will going to get returned. So that's what they have mentioned here also. So you guys could see the handling the two-factor authentication method is used for generating the two-factor authentication token and relies on the third-party application. So it is not an inbuilt application, it's a third-party application which may arise an issue. So the SMS token to any user, as you guys could see, this is a specific particular token that is going to be assigned. So user request dot get parameter method is called for extracting the parameter in the phone and assigning it to the phone number variable. Okay, that's what I said. And after which it will gonna switch to the processing, and as I told, it's a java lang dot runtime execution. So in this method the curl is making the HTTP request. So what this HTTP request is making here is it's a post method for the third-party API endpoint. So here the API URL will going to be specified, as well as a phone number that is being stored on the string will going to be used. So by which the curl will going to make a HTTP request and get the JSON format as a response. Okay. Now what we could do is, here there is no particular function that we're gonna validate the particular phone number that we are passing from the front end to the back end. What it is checking is whether it is null or not. Except that there are no other kind of validation that are actually present over here. So what this particular Bob is what the attacker is doing is, he will just gonna modify the data as he will gonna mention it as :xxx. So xxx could be considered as a particular command that is going to be used. So let's see whether the command injection will going to take place or not. So here you guys could see command not found. That means it is expecting a command to be passed with that. So if a particular command will going to be used over here, then that particular command will going to be executed in the server and the value will going to get generated. So let's analyze the code. So yeah, as I told, the number of string XSS is appear in the curl and it will gonna get executed. So when the execute command is going to executed, however the semicolon is going to separate the phone number with the command. So yeah, that's what they are mentioning, two separate commands. So in the curl request it will gonna be mentioning as 2666748. So this is how the curl request will going to get will be made. So xxx will be considered as a unique command which could be executed in a Unix operating system. So it's a bash command not found error. So it will gonna return in a JSON query. So it is returned as a JSON query here. So let's see. This ability of executing the operating system commands by injecting the shell meta characters ampersand pipe into the application in the runtime environment in the command injection or the shell injection vulnerability. Yeah, this could be called as a remote code execution too. Okay, so I think this much is made it clear. So now what he is doing is, he will just gonna inject the particular code in particular phone number here. So again you will gonna set an intercept, and now instead of making a simple xxx request, he will just gonna make a cat request. He will gonna cat the value of the file that is actually present. So what he will gonna do is, he will gonna use cat etc/password, as he knows that it's a he knows that this particular operating system that is working as a server or which is providing the JSON format response is actually a Unix based operating system. So now in the Unix, etc/password contains all the passwords of the users that are actually present. So by executing this command, see, all the different kinds of user information will going to get generated. So this is not the only method by which you guys could make a command injection. There are many different methods by which you guys could do it, but this is one of the common method. This is a common vulnerability that may arise in different kinds of situations. So okay, that's what they have mentioned in the command injection. Interesting. Reviewing the HTTP response from output of the Bob injected command cat etc password has successfully executed and returned the password of the PayHub's web server. So these are the credentials that are actually belongs to this PayHub server. Okay. So now let's analyze the code. So this is the way the backend the Java code was, which was actually making the request for the two-factor authentication. So what was the main mistake over here was it was actually checking only for whether the phone number is null or not, except that it is not checking for any kind of command injection or SQL injection or anything. So let's analyze it. Yeah, so here you guys could see the phone is a phone parameter that is used in the post request in the phone number variable. Okay, so phone number variable is that used for building a command string without any further processing. Okay, that's what I said. It's not processing anything else instead of checking whether it's null or not. Okay, so execution of the command with the OS command will be executed as an application server. So what could be done to prevent this particular kind of attacks? So as including this particular function of if in this so when I was using the if condition in here, the if condition was actually checking whether it was null or not, but as a prevention of preventing from the command injection, the developer could also use is phone number valid id. Is phone number is not valid or is valid. If it's not valid, then the submit phone number is not valid and return empty. If the phone number is valid, then it will gonna come into this particular try catch block, and in the try block it will gonna execute the curl command. So the number of the command injection will go could be restricted even using the phone regex. The phone regex, what this is actually doing is it is restricting the user's input, so that instead of these particular numbers, if any other kind of information is going to be mentioned in that particular phone number, then it will gonna be showing us an error that the phone number is not valid. So that's all for today. So I hope you guys have understood how the command injection exactly works, and thank you.